Dear content creator, when did we decide that being busy or exhausted was a badge of honor? That slowing down means that you are quitting or giving up. Well, y'all, I had a reality check the other day that forced me to slow down and take a break. And so in this episode, I want to talk about the reason why rest is important and is not the enemy of success, but is actually the foundation to it. Let's dive in. What up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Dear Content Creator. I am your host, Karis Maggie. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. It's been a hot minute, like not too long, maybe about 4 weeks or so, I would say, since I've made an episode. But as you can hear by the intro, your girl just needed to take some time away. The podcast isn't going anywhere. I didn't have any time to make any of those I'm taking the time to step back kind of episodes, so I hope that you can forgive me. And what I would recommend is just subscribe to my newsletter. The link will be in my show notes. I want to be more consistent with my newsletter, even if I don't put out a podcast, that I'm keeping in touch with any of you who are subscribed to the newsletter. So if you're not yet subscribed, I share information about events, any discounts that are happening for, anything related to content creation, whether it's gears, events, subscriptions, whatever, as well as some tips based on my own experience so it can help you on your content creation journey. And very soon we are going to have some creator spotlights that are going to be happening in the newsletter. So if that is something you're interested in, being featured, then send me an email to theircontentcreator@gmail.com. All right, y'all. This is going to be a hard episode to record because I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, the ring light up on my face, the light in the room they on, and the place hot. Jano star, G's and P's. The place is so hot and humid, and I think we are all feeling it across the world. I have heard different experiences with just how humid and hot the place has been. And what really stood out to me was the fact that our counterparts in the UK, I don't want to laugh at it, but it's just like, you mean to tell me that you're a country that has never experienced a certain amount of temperature that required you to even have AC? And in this year of 2025, Mother Earth, Mother Nature decided that, yep, y'all are pissing me off. All I know I gonna get it. So right now, the folks in the UK, I heard that it is so hot that they need ACs because it is not, like they've never been this hot before. I know UK weather is usually like, damp, always raining, bleak and so it's very surprising to know the kind of summer that they're having right now. And what happened is, because it's just never been this hot, they never had a reason to have ACs or even have the apartments built with AC. So what I've been hearing through the grapevine is that they're going to have to order them in and help the people them get some comfort. But it's all over. Spain, me here said them a burn up and the humidity is bad. Here's the thing. I don't like that we were not eased into summer. What happened, especially here in Toronto? I can only speak about Toronto when it comes on to Canada because that's where I live. But it was very weird. We had the weirdest summer, and just so far summer has been weird, and then spring even was weird. This was the longest winter. It was cold even into spring, y'all. I'm saying like I need my sweater type of weather. Just last week, we had one of the days in the week where people still had to draw for the sweater because it was like hot on one day. Like we had the highest temperature since 2019, apparently on Monday. And then come Wednesday, the place was cool. And I'm like, what kind of game is this? Like, pick one. But I get it. Mother Earth is tired of us. We haven't been kind to her. And the funny thing is, it's not really the everyday people who have caused what we are in right now, if you really think about it. It's the big corporations that have been having certain practices for years. Just the other day, I heard Jeff Bezos had some wedding and people were flying out. I think it was like 90 jets, I think is what they were saying. 90 private jets flew out to this man's wedding. But all we have to do is recycle and everything will be all right. Yeah. All you and I have to do is recycle, and everything will be all right. A bunch of BS. We are not the problem. We know who the problem is. But anyways, I'm going on a bit of a tangent in this episode. We will talk about that on another episode maybe. But yeah, y'all, we're going to be talking about the importance of resting. I want to hear from you guys in the comments right now with this question. So if you're on YouTube, drop a comment. If you're on Spotify, leave a comment, because you can leave comments on episodes as well. Apple, you can leave your comment via a review. I want to know, when was the last time you really took a break from the hamster wheel of content creation? I'm giving you a moment to answer, okay? Yes. When was the last time you took a break? This is an important question to ask, because I feel like right now there are a couple things that are going on, and I do want to explore another topic in another episode that has to do with the content fatigue that a lot of us are experiencing. Not only are we experiencing content fatigue as creators, but also our audience is experiencing that, and we're seeing it in various ways, where it might be they are engaging less, it might be changes with the algorithm that just frustrates, like consumers, because they are being shown things they didn't really care to see. They're following people, and all of a sudden they're not even seeing the things that the person they follow is posting. Like, all kinds of different stuff has been going on in the past year and a half, I would say, that has shifted a lot with the social media algorithms. As I said, I will talk about this in another episode, but I really had a reality check the other day when I got off work and I just was not feeling myself. And I thought I was just tired, But then that one day turned into 3 days, turned into a week, and then a week turned into 2 weeks. And then that's when I realized I think I'm burnt out. And the problem was that when I started my new job, so I've been in my new job now for over like a year now, a year and maybe 6 months. I don't think I really recognized or noticed how much time it would take from me. And that's the thing with like life changes. Even though I've always had experience where I have been working full time doing content creation on the side, my content creation journey has also evolved, and I don't think I really recognize that. And then my job and responsibilities also evolved. It took more mental capacity from me that I did not have to even feed into my content by the time I was finished with work. It's like I had nothing to give. So definitely had to work on evaluating, stepping back, and making some adjustments of what showing up online will mean to me moving forward. And it really goes back to another episode that I talked about. I think it was episode 2, titled, "Can We Have a Real Conversation About Mental Health?" I talked to you guys about occasions, 2 major occasions I can recall a couple years ago where I was burnt out, or that I had, like, you could say kind of like a mini mental break. And I took a break from content creation for like almost a year at one point. So when I was able to recognize it this time around, thankfully, I was able to see it quicker than, those years ago, which made me realize that I have grown so much in being more self-aware. And what I have also grown in is not feeling that pressure of showing up online for lack of, if I disappear, the algorithm is going to punish me and I won't get views, so I need to continue to create content. For the first time in a long while, I gave myself permission to be like, screw it. If I don't want to post for 3 weeks, I'm not going to post for 3 weeks, and that is that. So anything that I actually did end up posting in those times that I was away from making the podcast, anything that I posted on my socials was like things I had in the drafts, you could say. Anything that required minimal effort from me, that didn't require much brain power from me to use. And I was happy that at that time too, an opportunity for a mini getaway with my husband also came up. So we had some friends who were coming to visit in early June, and they were coming to Niagara, and I was like, this could not have come at a better time. It's going to give me an excuse to really take some time to rest. Even though I was still working my 9 to 5, I didn't take time off from work because I have vacation days for later on in the year that I shall be taking and enjoying. But for this time around, it was really about change of scenery. You know, sometimes a change of scenery is good. I was also getting to change my routine, you see, even if it was for a couple of days. Sometimes with being in a big city, it's very easy for you to always be on your hustling grind, especially when there are certain goals that you have that you're trying to accomplish. And when you're trying to accomplish it by yourself, you don't have a team. Financially, it's not like it's something that you have the money to do just yet, where you can sustain paying people while still keeping your business afloat. I would love to say that's where I'm at right now, but it's not where I am with content. I am able to hire contractors here and there when I need them, but for like more of a full-time need, not yet. In God's time, God's willing, that will definitely be the goal, to hire at least one person to help and bring them on my team. But getting away from the routine of what it's like living in the city, and it's that whole thing of seeing what other people are doing and you're like, oh no, I'm sitting here resting. What am I doing? I need to go out and you know, I have this idea I wanted to do. Let me work on it. Not realizing that as much as you want to work on certain goals and ideas that you have to evaluate if you have room for it. And truthfully, there was just a moment where certain things I wanted to do, I just did not have the room for it. So I'm grateful for that break. Got a couple of days in Niagara. Much needed time. I got a time to spend with my husband as well. Sometimes as creators, we can be in our heads a lot. So when you're going from work and then you go from your 9 to 5 to your 5 to 9, which is in my case, it can be very easy to kind of like neglect quality time with like family and friends and your loved ones or your significant other. So I did a lot of thinking over that break. And some of the things I want to share with you guys are this. Why does it feel like you're failing when you slow down? And I've thought about this question so much, and I think that one of the biggest reasons why it feels like if you slow down, you're failing is because you're measuring up your success to other people. In this day and age of social media, it is so easy to see everyone share their highlights. It's very rare, especially in the content creation space. It's very rare that you'll see people share the times when they are down. That is part of why I even wanted to create this podcast. And even if it's one person who hears my podcast and what I have to say, I want to share the reality, the real stuff about it as well, because it's not always the highlight reel. The truth is too, social media is just not a safe space to really be vulnerable all the time. I know that we are in a time right now where it's all about being transparent and vulnerable, but the truth is the social media like platform and just space as a whole, I have come to realize that it's not really a safe space to be truly transparent. People can use that against you. We just saw something happen with, if anyone knows, B. Simone. I think there is a line between, like, there needs to be a line with what you choose to share publicly versus what should stay as private and a private conversation between you and your friend. Because the way that conversation with her and her best friend has been dissected and all of the things just from clips, I got a chance to listen to the podcast myself. And although there were some things in there where I had my eyebrows raised and I was like, oh, that's crazy, I think I kind of understood what they were trying to say or the message at the end of the day. But everyone has their own interpretations. But I want to try my best to be as honest as I can. And that's why even with this episode, I'm sharing like the truth about what it has actually been like the past couple of months trying to actually juggle my 9 to 5 and content creation, and sometimes having to make the hard decisions of I have to give up this opportunity in order to do this because that is what I have the capacity for. Reminding myself that I do not have the same 24 hours as a full-time content creator. They are doing this full-time. I am not. I am still technically doing this part-time, but I show up in a full-time capacity. So it's all of these things that I was thinking about. Another thing I was thinking about was the productivity myth in content creation. Because of how content has been the past couple of years, if we are being truly honest, the way at which we are technically sometimes forced to put out content and pump out content, it really does not give room for a lot of time to really be creative. Because the projects that take the most time, or the projects that take the most creativity to put out there, takes the most time to actually develop, work on before it can be put out. But we live in a world right now where you have 3 minutes to grab someone's attention. There are 10 other people out there making content maybe similar to you. It's like you're kind of stuck between a wall, a rock and a hard place in determining if you should sacrifice quality for quantity. These are questions and things I was like really, really thinking to myself. And at some point, I just also was finding myself slowly falling out of love with making content. So I did not want it to get to the point it got to a couple years ago when I took such a long break from it. So I decided to take, even if it was a temporary pause, to really analyze how I was feeling and be honest about where I was at. So here is where I am at right now. With my podcast, the aim was to have it every single week. I would have another episode. I think I'm at a point because I am a one-woman show. I am giving you guys quality in not only audio, but also in visuals that I also edit by myself. Realistically, doing it every week might not be something that I can do right now. So until further notice, I will be reducing my content, my podcast episodes to a bi-weekly cadence. And if things should change, then you guys will be the first to know about it. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you all. The second thing is, in the last episode before I went on this break, I had this big goal that I gave for myself, which was that I was going to put out my first digital product. And even though I wanted to like just get it over with and just rip off the band-aid, the truth is that sometimes you have one chance to make an impression. And for me, it's not about wanting this to be perfect. I did take a chance of, with the advice of one of my friends who's also my accountability partner. We were chatting and she's like, why don't you just try doing a freebie first, see how it goes. And then from there, you can also work on this paid digital product that you're working on. Again, it's not about perfectionism, but I feel like when you're putting things out there, especially when people are paying for it, there has to be a certain quality to it. Too many people are just using AI tools that are available to do lazy work without any intention or thought of the person who is going to be receiving that product. For me, it's not worth it to get a quick buck off of a shitty product. That's just the truth. So I had decided to take my time a little bit more, and I'm almost ready to put it out there. But I think I also had that pressure that I had initially put on myself that by this time I'm going to have the product ready and that will be that. But that's just not how life works. It's going to be unpredictable. And also when you're doing things by yourself, things are going to take a bit longer. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So what are some of the things that I also learned? I also realized that my audience notices when I am missing. They notice when I'm a bit MIA. I had a couple of messages where people were reaching out just to see if I was okay because they weren't really seeing me post. And that made me realize that, you know what, if I wanted to take a break, I have permission to do that because the audience will be there once I get back. If they truly care about the content, if they actually find it valuable, the scarcity mindset of, oh, if I stop posting, I'm going to become irrelevant. I need to do away with that thinking. And secondly, I just have to figure out a new system for myself of how I can really prep content in advance so I can chill a bit more. So some of the things I'm trying to do. So I just mentioned for the podcast, it's going to be a bi-weekly cadence for now. I have had very difficult times trying to batch record podcast episodes, and I figured out what the problem was, which we have kind of solved. And it had to do with some part of planning, not just like what I wanted to talk about, but it was also like in my schedule, I realized that things would just be unpredictable because weekends is the only times I could really record an episode. So I made a couple of tweaks and changes. And so hopefully in the near future, you will also notice more planning involved and it will show up in my content as well. So all that to say, allow yourself grace. I think it's very easy to beat up yourself, not realizing how far you've come. And I am happy that I took some time away because, as I said, it allowed me to really look at my situation, evaluate where I was before, to really see that, no, Maggie, you have grown. There are so many bomb stuff that has happened that you have accomplished despite having hiccups here and there. And I'll be honest, there has been some frustration that I've just been going through with regards to like a very big project that I had worked on about a year ago or so, that it just didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I feel stuck. So that has also had me going through like a spiral of, I need to do this before it's too late and the time is now and whatever the case might be. But I think what really sealed the deal for me to make me slow the heck down, and I'm trying not to get emotional right now because it's still very fresh. There was someone that I knew of. I didn't know them personally, but I knew of them. They were close to my husband. Things were going on for her. She had dreams. She had things that she wanted to accomplish. And she just did not wake up one day. I don't really know what was the cause, but the way that shook me to my core, all I could think was, part of me was like, you have one life to live. Do what you can right now. And I realized that for me, I just don't want to just be making content all the time. I want to like actually live life. So get off of the internet, do things with my friends, do things with my husband, do things with my family, like finding hobbies, like doing stuff that doesn't involve just making content. As much as I like to think of myself as being ambitious. Ambition isn't everything, is what I had to remind myself. But then the second thing that happened, this is someone I do not even know, but it still made me feel some type of way. And I saw it on social media. It was a lady. She basically made a post that she's so tired, so she's gonna take a break for 3 days and come back. This lady went to sleep and didn't wake up, guys, because of exhaustion. And I think that's why I started out this episode with the statements that I made about the badge of honor to always be busy, to always be exhausted. We have been conditioned to feel that if we are busy all the time, if we are feeling exhausted, that means that we are doing a great job. And that is like so false. We live in such a capitalistic society that convinces us that working to the bone is the only way that you can achieve success. And I know that for me, a lot of it also comes from how I was raised. There's a lot of like trauma a lot of us have from the Caribbean, where we know that in order for you to stand out, especially when you're a darker skinned person, is doing the most. And I just want to chill sometimes, like real talk. Sometimes I just want to chill. So there are definitely some things I know I have to work on. I don't know if it's through therapy or what, but I have recognized that a lot of the things that keeps me going and motivates me is a traumatic response. It's not just ambition. Some of it is trauma. I'm trying to find the right words to wrap up this episode with, because I don't want it to be a super long episode. So I think I'm going to end it off with the Dear Future Me segment. For this, I actually wrote something down that I can read. And I want you to think about what you want to say to your future self, especially if you can relate to what I am talking about in this episode right now. I hope that I was able to explain and share my thoughts. That's the thing about podcasting. It's not supposed to be super rehearsed, unless it's like a scripted podcast, which this is not. So I hope that you were able to hear what I wanted to share, get what you needed from it, and see that I'm also still working through some stuff, you know? It's a journey. I'm still on it, and I'm still learning every day, things that I can do better. And all I can say is that I'm just grateful that I get to wake up every day and try and do better, not just for myself, but for people around me, for my future children, and for future me. So let's go into our Dear Future Me segment. Dear Future Me, I hope you remember this moment when you're tempted to push through exhaustion again. Rest wasn't what slowed down your growth. It's what made sustainable growth possible. When you feel guilty for taking breaks, remember that the best content comes from a place of intention, not depletion. Keep protecting your peace. Love, Present Me. If you enjoyed this episode, I know it was a bit heavy-ish. I didn't intend for it to get so heavy. But if you did enjoy it, please leave a comment. Let me know what are some of the things that you got from the episode. I hope I was able to make most of my points land. And once again, I truly appreciate any of you who take the time to listen to my podcast. You could be doing anything else, but you have chosen to give me a piece of your ear for however long I ramble for. And I just want to say I appreciate it. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you in another episode. Bye.